to talk about Highways Analyst. My name's Dan. I'm a product manager here at Basemap. So who are we as an organisation? So Basemap itself has been established since the year 2000, so we're into our 17th, 18th year now, and we are specialists in mapping. GIS systems is where our kind of forte is. A fair number of you would be aware of us through our older products. We look after a product called Congestion, and this is basically a multimodal travel time software tool, and it's something that we've since replaced with Track, which looks at multimodal transport accessibility, and that's where most of our kind of customers have come from. We also do lots of other type of great stuff around the transport sector. For example, we look after all the bus timetables. So if you go into Google Maps and put 2 positions in there, and it shows you which bus you can get, we power that, and various apps use that as well, such as City Mapper and other applications as well. A few years ago, we went and started producing our own products. The Highways Analyst is what we're going to talk about in a moment. Track, which I'm sure some of you are aware of. We've got a great product called Data Cutter, which can cut up key transportation data sets. Allows you to purchase parts of data as well for small areas, and also there's a free tier of that. So if you come across using demographic data, you can log on to datacutter.basemap.co.uk and you can download that free of charge without any cost at output area level. We also do various bits of work around producing our own data sets. So we have some speed data sets I've got a slide on in a moment. We do consultancy work, and we do training in our software packages as well. So what we've done is Highways Analyst uses a product called Trafficmaster, and Trafficmaster is a data set that's centrally purchased by the Department for Transport and given to every local authority in England free of charge. In the private sector, we can resell that for small areas. If you want to do a study on a few roads, we can resell that data to you, and that can be used in the Highways Analyst. So what is this data? So it's effectively a GPS sourced data set. So Trafficmaster have over 100,000 vehicles driving around the network, polling back every 1 to 10 seconds where they're located, and that is then built and attached to the Ordnance Survey's ITN network and the upcoming Highways network as well. And that comes across with a road link and how long it takes to traverse through that link. And it's provided as a CSV file. There's about 150 billion counts of data in a year provided as part of that. So it's a very, very data heavy, we said, with billions and millions of rows of data. Historically, every local authority gets this free of charge, but we've spoken to clients later, they really struggled to use it because queries would take a long time to process, or you need to have detailed SQL knowledge, or it's a very complex data set as well. So we decided that from all this knowledge of using the data, and now with a partnership with Trafficmaster, we'd use this to create a solution for local authorities to utilize. We also saw that it's really important when using this type of data as well. So we've got here a couple of console outputs from Track showing some Trafficmaster data in use. So on the left, we can see how a travel time of 15-minute drive looks like to a station without the importance of using speed data, showing 870,000 people roughly able to do that within 15 minutes. And to the right, we've got a map showing a 15-minute drive to Rotherham Station, showing 466,000. And that's then using the data from Trafficmaster to work out actually in the morning, can people do that journey? You can see the various travel time contours are much smaller to the right and on the left. So it's all about basically making this data available and easily accessible for people. So what we did is we took all this Trafficmaster data and our knowledge and put it into the cloud. And effectively what this has allowed us to do is hold all this data at a link level, so you can select the link and get information on that link. So the data itself can be queried against 96 time periods every day, every 15 minutes, 265 days a year. And if you're in a council, we can hold data from 2010 onwards, or in the private sector, we hold data for the previous 2 years, the whole of 2015 and the whole of 2016. What you then do is you load this into the system and you query it against these times and vehicle types and days, and then effectively you can either use it as a visual representation of congestion, as you can see on the map here, or you can export it out to an image, a CSV, or a shapefile. We then can measure The speed, so you have a speed of say 15 miles an hour, you can measure that against a nighttime free flow speed to work out what a percentage of congestion that is, or view the actual speed on the link. And as I said before, we have current and historic data as part of that. We also give the ability to factor the speeds up or down to model future trends. If you wanted to find out in 5 years you wanted to decrease traffic speeds by 5%, you can work out what that target would actually look like and monitor that using Highways Analyst going forwards as well. So we've got many clients using the software in councils and in the private sector. We kind of asked them, well, how are you using the tool? And what came up most was to find out where you've got slow speeds or pinch points, within the network. Also, people are using it to work out where you can make some major changes to infrastructure. So in Doncaster, they looked at basically putting a bus lane in, and they worked out not only putting the bus lane in, but what the knock-on effect was for car transport before and after the scheme as well. It's been used as well to look at speeding, because we come across this speeds provided aren't limited to the speed limit, so you will find out where people are speeding on the network, especially when tying in with speed limit data sets. And then the police have been using it and council using it where to put speed cameras, something I'm not too happy with, but it's one use of the data. And you can also compare travel times of other modes of transport and work out, if you want to put a bus route down here, how long is it likely going to take to get between each of the stops based on congestion at different times of the day and different days of the week as well. So one of our clients, Mersey Travel, used the tool, and they said on one project alone they saved 112 hours of analysis time using Highways Analyst. And basically they get the Trafficmaster data free of charge, and they basically wanted to look at bus corridors and to find out where the pinch points were on the network as part of this as well. And they processed the whole of the Mersey data, as I said before. The runs that took weeks before took minutes. It's all done within the cloud. They can be accessed from anywhere, so the guy there was able to access it from the office. He accessed it from home as well. He's a very eager beaver. He was able to do all of that work as it's just accessed via a website. And then the data was exported out as well, given the individual link information as well. So you can easily compare one type of link to another link throughout the network. We also produce speed data sets as well. So we've got a speed limit data set and a TM speed data set based off this. So if you weren't interested in processing the data, working out a 15-minute segment, these data sets will be perfect for you. And again, this can be used to work out travel time across 6 different time periods, Monday to Friday, and also have weekend speeds as well. And this ties directly into our other software products such as Track as well. And if you want any more information on that, please get in contact or have a look on our website. Final thing we've got here is a quick quote from Anthony at Mersey Travel. I'll leave this up for a moment, but basically he's saying it's been a boon, which I guess is a Liverpudlian saying, but I quite like it. They're basically saying, oh, it increases productivity as well, and how great it's been able to turn around time of tasks and improve his productivity and make him a more essential member of staff. So it's a really kind of good news story. So to kind of summarise on the kind of questions, so as you can see here, it reduces not just time but cost for journey analysis. It can be used in the private sector for small study areas very easily. We've got current and historical data, and also you can factor speeds up, you can customise the traffic flow measurement, and as I said, all the information is held at the link level. So the system itself is accessed via a website, so I'm going to go into that now. So here is the Highways Analyst tool. I'm going to refresh the page. So what I've got here is I've got some information. I've got some data loaded for a month in Kensington. And what I'm going to do first of all is do a very quick wizard. So I'm looking at the whole of Kensington. We store boundaries. So I've got all the boundaries here. I'm going to do the whole borough in one study. What I'm then going to do is, you can do multiple ones if you want. I'm going to do just Kensington. I'm going to choose my date range. This is for the month of January in 2015. I want to find out what congestion was like in the morning peak, so 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. The data is split out into various different travel modes. Cars and LGVs make up about 95% of the data. About 3% is in the HGV section, and 2% is a mixture of buses, taxis, motorised caravans, and other vehicles. So you can cherry pick and look at different modes. Sometimes people will do a car and LGV and classify them together, and they'll separate HGVs out to a separate run. We can then choose which days we want to look at. So I'm going to look at Monday to Friday. I don't want Saturday, Sunday to skew that at all. I'm also going to select to include school holidays because the first couple of days are school holidays. You can choose to exclude them if you want. Effectively, we all know what the roads are like where during school holidays congestion is much less and it's a much happier place to be. We can also choose to remove outliers or a percentile. So if we wanted to remove the top and bottom 10% of our results, we can choose 10% here, and then any maximums you get out would be the 90th percentile and minimums would be the 10th percentile of your results as well. Again, a really key statistic for kind of monitoring of this type of data. I'm then going to go next. I can compare the data, which I'm not going to do at the moment. I'll show that in the next example. I'm then going to choose what I want to analyse. You always have to look at the average, but I can choose maximum and minimum. I can also choose the factor value here to increase it by speed units. What happens if it increases by 5 miles an hour, 5 kilometres an hour, or I can do that as a percentage increase as well. I can also choose what a minimum count is. So if there's less than 10 GPS counts for that link, ignore it. It's not enough detail for us. And you'll find that on minor roads you might have 10 or 20 for a month, but on the major roads you might have thousands of counts of that. And what we can also do is I can say, well, I want to only analyse specific road types, so I can limit some of these road types if I wanted here. But in this example, I'm going to analyse all the roads that we've got data for. The system is meant to be quite easy and simple to use, but we have lots of eyes scattered about the place. These eyes are intro tools that will kind of explain what PRRA means, so private roads with restricted access. So these are always good things and kind of negates the need for training in the system. I'm going to go finish and set this off. This is now going to process the whole month, and here we can see, as we're zoomed out, what congestion it looks like. So what we're doing at the moment is we're showing the major roads as we're zoomed out, and as I zoom in a bit closer, we should then see the minor roads will then kind of appear where we've got that speed data set loaded. And what we're seeing is various colours on the map. So the colours in black showing less than 30%, or what is that 30%? So I mentioned earlier on that we can measure congestion against a free flow speed or a nighttime speed. So because there's no freely available speed limit data set that we can use in the system free of charge, what we do is we can measure what the congestion is like against a free flow speed. So when there's theoretically no traffic on the roads, and we classify that between 1 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning. So if I select a link in particular and I mouse over it, we can see here it's a local street. The average speed is 19.94 in the morning peak, which I believe I'm working off miles per hour. You can change the system between miles per hour and kilometers an hour. And what you can see is actually the midnight free flow speed on that link there was registered at 48 as the average across all time. So we can see that that's now coming across as black because that 19 is less than 30% of that speed. These can be customized as you want, but at the moment we're showing it like that. We can then see the areas in green where there's less congestion. This is a really useful kind of view of the data, but sometimes you just want to see what the actual speed is. So what we can do very easily is we've got a settings page, and I can do a speed here. I can say, right, I want my first one to be up to 10 an hour, my next one can be up to 20 an hour, another one can be over 30 an hour, and I'll do that as a speed unit. I'm going to save that. And then I can also choose if I'm doing it, this system is kilometers an hour or miles per hour. I'm going to save that as miles per hour as well. And that would actually require me to rerun the calculation, but that'll be done in the next run. But now what I can do is I can use the speed, and now it's showing the actual speed on the links where it's less than 10, between 10 and 20, 20 and 30, and 30 or greater. So now you can see exactly the links that have got the speed information on them. And again, the Trafficmaster data is provided to us very kindly with bidirections. So if I zoom in, say onto this little road here, because it's a two-way street, we'll then see it's being offset automatically for us. So we can see the left-hand lane, so travelling in the direction which is eastwards. We can see it's all green at the moment, but we can see actually travelling the opposite direction. We can see half of that link is green, but the next part is orange, representing this congestion leading up to this junction just here, as you would expect. And here we can see where this kind of one-way kind of crosses over, we can see the same sort of level of congestion as well being shown. And again, you can select different links to find out further information on that, and you can multiple select links as well, and that then starts adding up the total. So I can see the total average for these links, which are local streets. So this, the average speed is 35, with the free flow speed average, and the route time it takes to travel through them. So what we can do is, after doing that, we can say, right, we'll do a more detailed study on a particular area. So what we can do here is we can go to our wizard, and previously we looked at using one of our existing boundaries. We can use the map, so we can either draw an area using one of our GIS tools here, or what we can do is we can use a custom area that's already been created. So I've created one earlier on today for the A40 westbound, and I've got a few other kind of links as part of that. I can then choose what I want to study. So I might want to study Monday to Friday. Let's look at 1700 to 1900. And then what I can do is I can do a study. I'll compare that to, say, a Saturday, Sunday at a similar time. As you'll see, as we type these in here, you see you've got the 15-minute segments we can utilize and compare against if we wanted to. So I'll then go next. We'll then go finish, which will then run that calculation for me. Now I can see my map showing me the results. So here I can see the travel time going in one direction. I can then look at report 2 and see how that compares. You can't see much difference because they're both greens in this kind of example. But what you can do is you can do a comparison study. So I can compare report 1 and report 2. What's now showing us is what the difference is between the two time periods. So anywhere in red is slower on a Monday to Friday than the weekend, and anything in kind of orange or green is faster, and anything in black is much slower. So you can see actually you start getting further out of town, it gets slightly better, but this area here around Ladbroke Grove has got real kind of issues Monday to Friday compared to the weekend. And then what you can do is we can select our route, and I'll highlight the whole route here. And then what we can do is we can actually say, right, let's look and see how that route compares as a chart. So we can create a chart just here. This is showing us a lot of information at the moment. If I just show us the average. And here we can see what the average speed is. So if we look here, the average speed of S1, which is this one just here, is showing us the report 1, which is Monday to Friday, how that speed looks. And we can see the drop here. It starts kicking in at 2 o'clock, and we can see it really hits its lowest kind of peak as a speed of 16 average, so at 26 at 4 o'clock, and it slowly gets better and back to normal about 8 o'clock. So we can see that kind of dip just here in the average. And we can see then the same report, say for this report 2, which is the blue, we can see it's got a minor dip in the afternoon, but nowhere near to the same extent. What this report can also show us, though, is the average time it takes to traverse through all these links. So you've got the time value just down here, so you've got the A road, we've got the average speed, so the free flow speed, and what the route time is. And now we can see that what the average time it takes to traverse through. That's the orange one and the green one pretty much mirror themselves pretty evenly. But we can then see the average time jumps up again at 2 o'clock. So in the average route time it takes 91 seconds as a journey time, but we can see actually at its worst it takes 155 seconds at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then what we can do is you can export this chart out, and what this will do as an export is it will effectively show us every 15-minute segment. It allows you to recreate that chart in Excel or anything else. Let me load this up here. So here we've got every 15 minutes. We've got all of our average, our minimums, and our maximum speeds, one being calculation time period 1, so Monday to Friday. Then we can see the same again for report 2. So we've got all that information, what the average speed is, and that can be easily compared in Excel to create any sort of additional charting that you would like. Or what we can do within the system is we can also use this to remove any outliers. So if we wanted to remove the top and bottom 10% of our results, we can refresh that, and that will remove them from the chart, and then you'll effectively find that it normalizes it a lot more because the extreme values are taken away. What you can also do with any link you've got, you can also hover over it, and when you hover over it, it gives you some additional information. So it gives you what the average speed was, what the minimum speed was, what the maximum speed was, what the free flow for that link, and how many counts of data were recorded during that time, during 1,300 counts for that one link. Well, if you've got a selection, what you can also do is you can export out as a tabular report, so I can save just my selection of links and generate that out as a file, and that looks like this. This is then showing us for report 1, it's showing us what the average speed was, what the free flow speed was, what the link length is, and what the maximum speed was, and the minimum speed, what the road name is. We also get what the count, how many counts of data were recorded, the OS link ID, and how long it takes to traverse through each one of them links. What we can also see as well as part of that is information on the road type and the road classification as well. Or what we can also do is we can export this out to a shapefile. So I can export, in this example, the whole network I'm going to do, and I can do it as two different options. I can do it as a link per direction or a routable network. And what that effectively does is I've exported out and loaded it in to QGIS. This is now a map showing a routable network, and this is showing journey times and how long the speed is on each link in kilometers an hour. And we can see the areas in red being where you've got the congestion. And this is a routable network, so you can load this up into any other routing software, be it Track, be it Map Info, Drive Time, or whatever they have, or Esri, or anything like that. And you can use this straight away and route via it. And you'll notice that on each link of this, I've selected the wrong one here. So on each link, if I go to my attribute table, you've got all that same information created. And what I can do, if I move my selection to the top, if I remember how to do this, I can see the link I selected here. We can see in this report we're showing what the average is of report 1 minus report 2, what the average is in the A direction and the B direction. The average one was for report 1 made Friday of A is and what B is, what the average is for 2 for A and B. It's a one-way street, so B is not populated, what the road type is, what direction of travel is, and what the free flow speed is. And all these can then be modelled and can be analysed within a GIS system as mathematically mapped, like what I've done here. The other option we've got is a link per direction, and this will then appear like this. This is now showing us, like in the map view, when you zoom in, it exports that data into a view like this. So here we can see now that each link has been offset automatically, and that can then be requeried if we wanted within GIS. If I select one of my links, here I can view the information of that and move my selection to the top, and here I can see the average speed, what the speed was recorded, how many counts of data, how long it takes to traverse through that link, lots of lovely reporting information. And you also report, is it the A side of the road or the B side of the road, so you can split out all the A's to be one network if you wanted to, and all the B's to be a different network, and you can do other further offsetting work as part of that as required. And again, these are two shapefiles I've loaded up into the system and thematically mapped. So you've got that kind of customization either to view it within the system or to export it out of the system. Finally, what you can do is you can print this out of the system as well. So I can give it a title of my map. I can go print preview, change it to be landscape. And effectively, it then comes across here as the view is. I've got everything selected. It's not very useful, but you get a little legend on as well. And if you make the things for PDF, you can export it out to a PDF, or PDF printers themselves will also give you different options to export it out to JPEGs or other image types as well. And you can make the image bigger to fit on additional information as well as and when required. And all that's easily possible within the system. Finally, what we can do as well is, if you're a local authority, you can also have the option to export all the raw data out of the system as well. And that allows you to reanalyze and reaccess the raw Trafficmaster data that's provided to you by the DFT, and we can analyze that and export that out of the system for you as well. And as well as doing the single selection, we can also do route selection using what we call a sausage tool. So you can draw a route, and that will then effectively select the routes within that network. I've zoomed in and out very quickly. So then you can do it this way, and that will then do it as a selection. Or what you can do is, if I clear the map down completely and reset it, and I was interested in, say, this road just here, I could draw selection, which is then has a buffer around the outside. I can then do a wizard, and this time I can choose my map option. and I can just filter it for one time period and go finish. And then it will analyze all the links for that area I just had selected a moment ago. And again, you've got your full options then to click on each link to view the additional information as part of that, either as a scale or as a speed network. So that's it really for kind of the Highways Analyst kind of demo. Please feel free to ask any sort of questions that you might have at this stage. As I said before at the beginning, if you want a copy of the presentation, please feel free to drop an email to webinars@basemap.co.uk and we'll be able to forward a copy of that presentation onto you. But if you've got any sort of questions, please feel free to kind of ask them now, and I'll answer them as they come across.